angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our words of stone are ashes and we both passed on, let forever mean forever and carry on.
And don't forget, you can get your Boogaloo Civics Debate Bear mask, t-shirt, tote bag, phone case, or whatever in the link in the description of the video. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon. It's trying, damn it. Oh, that. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm actually doing better. I'm actually doing better. Well, it doesn't help what I do moments before. Hey, the intro, that's my damn time. I'm sorry. The intro is my time. Anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. Kind of a interesting weekend. I got to film something interesting with the drone. And on my phone today, pardon me, I'm trying to fight this cough. I actually got an aircraft, some type of military aircraft. I don't know what it is. It's huge. It's a big damn plane. That's what type it is. It's a big damn plane. Let me bring it up here. I don't know what that is. I'll play it and then I'll stop it when it's in a clear frame and I'll blow it up. And it's not a C-17. And because I was looking at it and the tail of it, the vertical of the tail is way too tall for it to be a C-17 Globemaster, so it's not that. Anyway, let me play it here. I kind of zoom in. Yeah, I probably should have got it back here a little more. Let me zoom that in. Well, normally, when you zoom video in, it zooms in. And it's not zooming in for whatever reason. Yeah, this is zooming in a little bit. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I don't know what it was, but it was what it was. Let me make sure my zoom's back down. Don't want any freaky things happening. Okay, so yeah, I filmed that today with the camera on my phone. And then let me grab that video real quick that I got. Let me get the link to it. And we will go, oops, not there. We will go back over here. And there's no audio or nothing, but obviously. But anyway, the neighbor had got my attention and said she heard of a fire that wasn't far from our location. And now, first off, I want to say I am completely aware that it's not a situation to where they're going to have aircraft flying in to help assist with the fire or anything like that. So we're not a town like that. So I kept my distance because I wasn't about to get close. But nonetheless, I wanted to say that because there's a lot of people out there, believe it or not, that would, oh my gosh, you know, you put your drone up to film an emergency. It's not like that. I wasn't putting my drone up over top of, you know, I wasn't getting in the way of anything. I knew there was nothing for me to be getting in the way of. You know, so it wasn't a big deal. But anyway, I actually, there's a patch. You can't see my mouse, but there's a like a patch of grass over there, and it's almost center screen now. I'm actually going to fly over that so I can get a little bit of a closer view. But again, you know, as I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I am not going to be flying over people, you know, moving vehicles. That's why you actually see me flying over the tree line, you know. It may sound idiotic, but you know what? I would rather, if something happens and that drone falls out of the sky, I would either rather it be in one of those trees or in that field or something than hits the roof of somebody's house. It's not going to hurt the roof of somebody's house. That thing's extremely light, but nonetheless, I don't want it to, you know, I don't want it to alarm anybody. I don't want it to piss anybody off. If it falls from that height, it's going to be pretty broke up. So, tree's actually the best bet because it might help break the fall a little. In ultralight aviation, if you're coming down and you don't have any good choices, trees sometimes are your best choice. So it looked like it was pretty well under control and taken care of by the time I even put up in the air. So you don't see a whole lot of smoke. There's not a whole lot, but nonetheless, I put it up as soon as I heard about it, and checked it out. So like I say, there ain't much there, you know. And when I started to see it really kind of light up, I realized that they had it out. That's if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty well steam. So I spun it around and headed back. So and I like how this time when I did it, I kind of came in and down at the same time because I knew where I was at, and I just figured I would come in and down. As long as I stayed over a certain altitude, I wasn't going to hit any trees or power lines or anything like that. And I just bring it on over that empty lot, on over down to me. So anyway, I got that. There was that this weekend. And aside from that, though, it was a pretty mellow weekend. I can't think of anything big. Really can't. I really do enjoy flying the drone with the tablet. It makes it so much nicer. And after 5 million different reiterations, I think I finally have everything set up on the controller the way I like it, where everything's kind of out of the way, and everything looks good and functions well. So I leave it together at this point because there are so many accessories on that remote controller. It actually takes a fair amount of time to get it all put together and ready to go. So I just leave it, with the exception of the tablet being on it, I just leave it all put together. The tablet, I just put it in place, plug in the tablet, and I don't leave the controller plugged in, but plug in the tablet, then plug in the controller, and that part's done. I just have to unfold the drone, take the gimbal cover off, throw the battery in, and get it up, you know. Saves a lot of time instead of having to go through and set all that controller up, because I don't just use a controller. I got parabolic range extenders that I use. You know, it can be, you know, plus you have to take your sticks. If you fold it all the way up, put it in your case, you gotta take your sticks, and they're in a little like clip that's up inside the controller. And you have to unclip them and actually screw them in to where they go to fly it. And so that actually takes a little bit of time. It's just kind of I don't know, takes time, you know. If you run into something that you want to grab real quick, and sometimes that's the case here, especially if I see some cool clouds or something like that. You know, that can make all the difference whether you can get that shot or not. Things like clouds move. So, anyway. I wanted to pretty much dedicate the time of the monologue today to a video that Ammon Bundy had put up. Hang on here. Let me find the right window. Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday. Sorry. That's what I thought. I just wanted to double and triple confirm myself. So, he put this up on YouTube yesterday. On Ammon Bundy's channel. And let me tell you what, it's not being super well received. At this current time, and I am one of them, the video has 309 thumbs up. It has 259 thumbs down. Now, I know you guys on my videos, I got those statistics hidden on the videos. I don't do too bad. Once in a while I get a thumbs down. You know, on the video of Blue and Teddy, I think I had one thumbs down. And, you know, it's probably somebody that just doesn't get it, you know. Or somebody that doesn't know the channel and know Blue and Teddy to, you know, to get it. But, and that's cool, whatever. But yeah, when I do monologue videos, sometimes when I put those out or I do report videos, yeah, you get people once in a while, but it's not bad. I have never experienced any kind of hate like that. Never. But this isn't the first time. I've seen Ammon Bundy experience hate multiple times now. Simply because he sticks by the Bible first and the Constitution second. And that causes conflict for a whole lot of people. Because there's a lot of folks that just don't realize the God has not told you to hate anybody. I don't get that. And I keep saying it over and over. Show me who God or Jesus wants me to hate. Show me. Show me what group of people, what race that they want me to hate. And when you can show me that, I'll hate them. Until then, I am going to listen to God over man. Sorry. Sorry. Ammon gets it. Honestly, there's really not a whole hell of a lot of people that get it. There aren't. But Ammon gets it. So, by the way, if you like Ammon, and after you listen to what he's got to say, if you like what he's got to say, please go over, and I'll share the link or whatever, and give him a thumbs up. Help that out there, because this is bullshit. I would ask you this. Listen to what he's got to say. Listen to what he's got to say. It's Ammon, folks. It's Ammon. Listen to what he's got to say. The video is titled, Ammon Bundy Speaks to Why He is Joining the Black Lives Matter at the Defund the Police rally. He's actually going to be joining up with them at the rally. I'll talk more about it after the video.
I'm not going to talk about this a whole lot. I really wanted to, but I'm out of time. But I have to a little bit because, and I hesitate because, and I don't really. I do care that people might ridicule, but I'm going to take just a couple minutes to explain what. I was invited by Black Lives Matter leader in Boise to join them on the 21st. Okay? And now the 21st is a Defund the Police rally by Black Lives Matter. Okay? Now I am going to join them. Okay? Now listen. Because I do believe that in many ways the police do need to be defunded. We have become a police state because of the funding that they receive. Now, I want you to understand that most of the funding goes to the federal government, and then the federal government trickles it down to the local, a lot of the funding trickles it down to the local departments. But they don't ever give money for nothing. They make the local departments sign what is called a Memorandum of Understanding, MOUs. They require them. And these MOUs are basically saying, you will enforce the law the way we want you to enforce the law, not the way the local people want you to enforce the law. And so yes, there does need to be defund the police, but it's maybe a little bit different. But I do agree with it. Plus, my family and many others that I have, that I've been associated with, have been tyrannized by the police forces, right? And I want to explain it just a little bit to you, okay? Principle, please understand this. Everybody might be different. We have different life experiences. We can still get along and understand, but please understand this, and that is, it's about a republic form of government. It's about, I should say more about representation of the people. Because the people are the ones who have the policing and arresting power. We are the sovereign in this nation, actually in the world. That's the way God created it. We are the sovereign. So therefore, we delegate, definitely do not give up. We delegate policing and arresting power to certain people. But who do we, when it comes to law enforcement, do we the people delegate it to?
Sheriff.
That's right, the sheriff, and only the sheriff.
Amen.
So listen, when a sheriff deputy or the sheriff himself is acting out of line because he puts his knee on someone's neck and kills him, or maybe not even that bad, how do you hold that person accountable? You recall him, you kick him out, you replace him, and that's how it's done. But if he works for the city, how do you do it? There is no mechanism for the people to do it. If he works for the state, and if he works for the feds. And I'm telling you, it was not designed that way. It was designed so that the people delegate it to the sheriff, and the sheriff deputizes, and the people can hold them directly accountable. Correct. Right? So we have all of these police forces, and we've become a police state, and they're all being funded. And you know where the city police, and I'm not saying that all the city police are bad. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if they're a good officer, then they need to be taken out and put with the sheriff as a sheriff deputy. Okay, but that's a big step. But so when you ask a city police, where does he get his authority from? He'll say, well, I went to the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center and I got certified. And now I am a certified law enforcement, and therefore I have policing and arresting power. Now, where did the people give them that power? We didn't. And so I know that among this group right here, that this is a little bit of a conflict, right? It really is. But we have to be principled. We have to base our decisions on principle. And the way our founders designed it was for the sheriff to receive the policing and arresting power from the people and then deputize as many people as he needs to enforce the law.
By the consent of the governed.
Yes. By the consent of the governed. Thank you. Read the Declaration of Independence, right? Declaration of Independence. So even though it may be hard to swallow that a little bit, I have to express that to you. And I am going to join the Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to hold up a Lavoy Finicum sign. I am going to support the defunding of unconstitutional police forces that are controlled by our federal government through money that they extract from the people and then trickle down for control. Because that's the only position that I can stand on. I'm not telling you you have to. I hope you don't ridicule me for it. But on the 21st, I'm going to join the Black Lives Matter in this effort. It may be a little different interpretation, but I think there's enough unity there between myself. I'm not representing the people's rights. I'm going there myself. If you want to come, great. But that is what I'm going to do, and that's why you'll see me there on the 21st. So, thanks. What's that? No, I don't think so. I was just invited, and he reached out to me, and I looked into it before I accepted to make sure that it was something that I could support. Because one thing I'm not going to go support is looting or destroying or anything like that. And one thing that I will say that he said in his message to me was, come support the Black Lives Matter movement, not the Black Lives Matter organization. And I think that probably says something. At least to me it said something. Anyway, let it lay where it will lay. But what's that? Yeah, I'm going to have a whole bunch of them.
Okay. That date, and I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but I believe Brad Little is selling land in the North Foothills to the city of Boise. I've tried to share this a little bit with people, but and they're meeting on that day. The city council in Boise is meeting on little properties, and it's something like a $1.2 million deal that they're trying to purchase from Brad Little. I don't know the legalities on that, but if you guys would look on the City of Boise site, on their Facebook page, they sent out pictures on it of the land and the areas on Monday. So people that know about that know the legalities. I don't know if that's fair play for the governor to be selling to the city or what it is, but there is a deal that they're discussing on that day, and I think that if there's something wrong with that legally, which I don't know, that we should be involved.
Just be aware of it and involved. Well, we need someone obviously to look into that, to see if it's some backdoor deal or if it is legitimate. So thank you. Yes.
Yes. I just have a question. There's also people going to counter protest about the assembly line. So how are you going to manage both sides?
I'm not.
Yeah, we don't
I'm
ourselves.
Well, and
I didn't say people.
well, people again.
Yourself. How are you going to manage yourself?
Well, I am going to go down there, and I'm going to be respectful to everybody. I am going to, when I have opportunity, when it is appropriate, I'm going to voice my position like I just did here. I'm going to express that my family also, I spent 2 years in federal prison, and we have become a police state. And there's nothing more dangerous. I would much rather run into a bunch of street criminals and defend myself than run into a bunch of government criminals. And so, and when I spoke to the police, the Boise police liaison, I guess what he called, he asked me, he said, I don't know how you feel about me. I don't know if you feel like all police are bad or something. I said, I want you to understand something. I do not have a prejudice against anybody. I look at the people at what they do. And there are criminals among you in your police department, but there are also a lot of good people among you in your police department. And that's how I look at it. If someone is going to violate life, liberty, and property, I don't like them. They're a criminal, and it doesn't matter if they wear a badge or not. They're a criminal. And if someone wants to say, I'm a Black Lives Matter member or whatever they call themselves, and they want to destroy property or take life, they are a criminal. And I don't like them, at least for that. And so that is where my basically line is. It is not whether someone works for the police department or whether someone protests with Black Lives Matter. It is not that. It is not if you're black or if you're white or Caucasian or Asian. It is not that. It is, are you a criminal or are you not? And a criminal is someone who violates life, liberty, or property. And to me, that is what is destroying our country. Allowing criminals both in government and on the street, if you will, to act in the violation of rights. That's why we formed ourselves. That's why, even though some didn't like the way I used anarchy, and I get it, but that's why, we're caught in the middle. We're caught in the middle. And so I hope that answers your question. I'm going to look at each person as a child of God and treat them such, and it doesn't matter whether they have a badge or whether they're holding a BLM sign. Yes.
I agree with everything you say. You got to know there's people out there that's going to use this to cut the legs out of this movement.
I understand that. Well, first of all, this is not my movement. This is the people united together in areas. And if someone does that, and they most likely will, and it should make us stronger, you can be sure that they're of the same type of mind that is basic criminal, because they do not want us to unite. We have to understand that there is an enormous amount of black people that need their rights defended, right?
Yep.
They need to join us, and we're not going to draw that line. And if the whole organization fell apart because of that, because of those principles, then we're not an organization that should be an organization. That's just the way it is. And I'll tell you, I do not want to take this much time, but I'll tell you one story, and then I'm going to turn the time over to Dawn. I got serving cease and desist. I have to turn that over. Okay.
I'll skip it.
Then I'll turn it over to Dawn. So, in prison, I spent 2 years in federal prison. I never once was allowed to touch or hold my children or my wife. Never talk to them face to face the entire time. Okay, I spent half of the time in solitary confinement. And so I spent 155 days at once in solitary confinement. As you know, the law is not supposed to go beyond 30 days. But because I would not comply, I'm a terrible prisoner. Terrible prisoner. Because I would not comply, they just kept put me over and over. So, but what I learned there was amazing. They would put us in pods, and there's about 100 men in those pods. And when you first come in there, there's the black car, and all of the area. And there's the whites, and there's the Native Americans, and there's the Hispanics, right? And it is disrespectful to walk through their area. And you immediately see that the prison and the guards are actually in many ways, encouraging and even enforcing these cars, right? And it's not hard to figure out why, because you have 100 of supposed to be these federal hardened criminals, right, in one room, and then you've got a 21-year-old girl who's the guard. And at any time if they would unite, they could stand up and walk out of that prison. There's nothing that could stop them. But they keep them divided. They keep them fighting. They keep them, they even do it inside the prison. And prison is like a petri dish of society. And they are literally trying to divide us. They're trying to say those blacks, and those whites, and those Mexicans, and those, they're trying to say that. They're trying to divide us because they know that at any time, if we were to unite, we could completely be free. completely be free. And so that's what this is about. Black Lives Matter is funded by a white man, a rich one. Right? That's where they're getting their funding. And Black Lives Matter, or at least the black people, should understand that. And Black Lives Matter in its own, in the very term, even though I do support a lot of the movement. But Black Lives Matter, the term alone, is divisive. The name is divisive. Right? Alone. You don't think that they chose that name of course they chose that name for a reason. It was to divide the blacks against the whites. That's what it's for. So that our brothers and sisters that are children of God, just like us, won't unite with us. And they keep us divided. So, anyway, I think I've said enough about that. I hope you understand. It does not change a thing. Yes, back here.
Ammon, in light of what you just said, in a short summation, what would you say then is the key to why you are willing to work with the movement and not organization? So therefore, what is the difference, in your opinion, between the two?
Well, again, I'm not going to identify or say something I don't really know, right? But what I'm saying is I know for a fact that there are millions of our black brothers and sisters that are not criminals, and that they want freedom just like us. They need freedom just like us. And yes, in a lot of ways, they haven't either seen it. And you know, my father was ridiculed, and again, here I go, I'm talking more. My father was ridiculed 5 years ago for saying that he felt like that in many ways the black community was still oppressed. And he asked the question, I wonder, this is a 74-year-old man, he says, I wonder if, and it sounds so racist, it was the wrong word, so I'm going to quote it, but what he said was, I believe, right. He asked the question, I wonder if they were better off back then. And he said it a little different than that, right? Because they were in families. But then you go, but they were enslaved. Yes, they were. It was terrible, right? But what's happening now? We're all being enslaved. We are. We're afraid to go to a store without a mask. It's not about race at this point. It is about tyranny.
I wanted to say one thing. The whole point of that is a defund the police rally, and the only constitutional police is the county sheriff. Yes. And the whole point of the police was to protect rights, not to oppress you. And so the police are the ones that are going to enforce everything that you don't want. And so don't be divided. Take the information. Defund the police doesn't mean we hate police, okay? Or that we don't want the county sheriff. We're going off of principles here. And if law enforcement is law enforcement, or is it there to protect your rights and your property? Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that even today, well, actually, this morning, Caldwell Police Department came in and they acted completely appropriate.
Yes.
They were respectful. They were liaison between us and the board members.
Yes.
They didn't come in puffing their chest. They didn't come in trying to, force us and drag us out and all of that, which is what I've been used to be honest with you. And so, I look at them with some respect, but I do it individually. Look, you did not act like a criminal today. I don't know if you act like a criminal all the time, or just today is different. But either way, you did not act like a criminal today, and I'm grateful for that. And they, and so it's not about, it's not about like a department or it's about an individual making decisions of whether they're going to be a criminal or not. So yes.
I only want to talk about this one. It was so amazing when you said it to the top, so clear, and you said, look, your job is to support us. And it was
Well, and I wanted to make sure they understood that if they hurt me or arrested me, it was not going to be the Caldwell Police Department against VA Ammon Bundy, right? It was going to be officer so-and-so, or not even officer. It was going to be Mike Wilkinson, against Ammon Bundy in court, because that's the way I was going to make it happen, at least in my defense. Because we are individuals. We make our choices, right? That is why we're here on earth, to learn to make good choices. At least that's what I believe we're here on earth for. And so it goes for all of us.
Can I say
all right.
one thing? Is that I could be wrong, but I think that to defund the police, to fund the police, that whole piece that you talked about, I think in the Patriot movement, that is one of the last things that people, they don't know about. So we need to educate, like I seen Lori Marr on her profile thing that says like end qualified immunity. Before I stopped coming to your meetings, I didn't even know what qualified immunity was. I don't even understand this funding of police that you're talking about. This is new to me, and I would suppose, some people have been around this longer and they understand all this. But for me, I'm like, okay, so how does this work? So, I hear people talk about the sheriff. I'm like, okay, so the sheriff has all of this, but I grew up in Boise City my entire life, so the Boise police always had the power because I was just,
right.
working, making money. I didn't know this stuff. So you're educating us now, but can we continue to get educated so we understand that piece? Because a lot of us don't know that piece.
Yeah, well, that's what we all have to do, we have to treat it like it's a multi-level marketing thing here now, right? You gotta go out and build some business. You're not selling a product, you're just selling a business, right? No. Anyway, we have to. You have to spread it because we're one. I'm one person. Lori's one person. But now we just had 200 people or close to in here that now can go out and say, hey, think about it this way. Like this is maybe something a little different. And also think about it logically. Well, what about we're a representative government, right? The people are the sovereign. Well, how do we give our policing and arresting power? Well, if we only give it to the sheriff. He's the only elected individual that we give policing and arresting power. We don't give it to mayors. We don't give it to anybody else. The president. We don't give it to the governor. We give policing and arresting power to the sheriff. That is it. Okay. So there was a hand over here, and then I really got to move on. Yeah. Okay, that's in my category. It's to do. It actually is. We want, and we don't know what we'll name it, but there will be an education link or something at the top of the page, and it'll have different subjects with videos and all of that. And we could use all your help to do that. Okay. Don, the time is yours. I'm sorry that where'd you go, Don? Oh, and I'm sorry that I went so long, but Don is going to close us, and I understand that it'll also be the closing prayer. Is that correct? So, thank you, Don.
And of course, I just took a vape, like 3 of them. Anyway, I'm normally good if I don't have to talk after I vape. Go figure. Anyway, so yeah, I couldn't agree with what he has to say anymore. And again, the man puts the Bible first and the Constitution second. I want to point out in particular one thing in that to prove my point. When he was talking about not supporting the rioting and the looting and the burning down, he had said, I don't like them. I don't like those people. And then he corrected himself and said, for that. Okay? He caught himself, and it bothered him to the point that he corrected himself for simply making a statement that he didn't like some people. Now, he wasn't indicating, he was indicating the rioters, the looters, right? So, it was important for him to clarify that it's not that he doesn't love them as children of God, but he don't like that activity that they're participating in. And it was important to him to point that out. That is a big, in my opinion, that's a big deal. That really shows the nature of somebody. You know, I get it. I get Ammon, you know. I love listening to the man speak. I dearly miss listening to LaBoy Finicum speak. Man, listening to him speak was like music. It really was. It was like Liberty music, almost. It was amazing. Ammon's not far behind him. But boy, there was just something special about that man. Same with Ammon. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I said I was going to give that link. I am sorry. One moment. Let me grab that link here. There you go in the chat. The link to that. Okay. I had to cough, so I figured I'd mute real quick. Alright, but anyway, I wanted to play that. Damn it, man. I believe, here I am opening it back up again. I believe this is tomorrow. It says, the video is about the reason why Ammon Bundy is joining the Black Lives Matter at the Defund the Police rally on July 21st, tomorrow, in Boise, Idaho. So, I will be looking for video that is taken from that event with Ammon being there. Hopefully, I can find something while it's live. Hopefully, there's something live of him being there. That would be really sweet. Anyway, so you may yourself want to keep an eye out for live streams. I put the link to the chat to this video. You can subscribe to him, ring the notification bell. I don't know that he'd go live on here. I don't know that if he's going to go live. I don't know. I would imagine that at some point video will pop up on his channel, at the very least, from his attendance there. So, be a good idea, like I say, to subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. And even if you don't want to subscribe and ring that bell, please go over there, hit thumbs up on that video, give the big middle finger to the haters, and, you know, it is what it is. Alright, have a sip of coffee here. By the way, I am doing much better. I am. I'm not completely cleared up or anything like that, but I am clearly on the way. I see a very, very big difference in how I'm feeling and whatnot. So that's good news. Extremely good news. Had me really worried there. So we found the problem. We dealt with the problem, and I'm clearing up. So it's going to take it a little bit. Anyway, go over the normal stuff here. Amazon affiliate, we're up to $17.72. Show 13 items have shipped. 5 more items need to ship yet, so that will go up yet. I appreciate those that participate in that. For those that don't know, we're an Amazon affiliate. There's a link in the description of the videos, as well as at thewatchmannews.com. in the top right here. That link will take you to Amazon, and if you make purchases after using that particular link, those items, they won't cost you anymore, but it will throw a little bit our way for the sale. So anyway, it's a little way to help us out without you having to spend any more or anything like that. So it is highly appreciated. We also have a Teespring store. Best way to find what we offer there is go to thewatchmannews.com. Scroll down on the home page. We got 4 different designs right now. I will be getting more up there. I've been doing it. It didn't take me too awful terribly long to get those 2 up there. So bear with me, or koala bear with me, and I will get more up there. So anyway, if you like one of the designs, it's more than t-shirts. There's coffee mugs, there's tote bags, there's all kinds of goodies. The bear actually has a cloth face mask. Anyway, I probably need to do a cloth face mask for the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I don't know how well it would look, but I ought to try. I'm going to have to try. Anyway, if you're interested in that, please go check that out. Lastly, the one other way to help us out is our PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as the watchmannews.com. In the main menu says donate. That will take you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card. But I always let people know it says Transforming Disabilities up top, but it will also say Purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. Okay. Done and done. So, I almost think of this next part almost as reading the comics anymore. It almost seems that way. Need a little coffee. Help me swallow the amount of bullshit that I'm about to show you next. Go over some numbers here, and I'll point it out when we get there. Global total confirmed 14,567,109. That's up 206,658. Active cases 5,766,784. Recovered cases 8,193,138. That's up 121,201. Fatal cases, 607,187. That's up 3,902. United States, total confirmed, 3,887,352. That's up 105,367. Now, remember what I've said about that. Total confirmed, and that number goes up. You have to look at it this way. Total confirmed means one of 2 things. Either you died from it and they marked you down for it, or you were tested for it and you got it. Okay? So, it would be safe to say they probably catch it while most people are alive, I would think. I would hope. You would think. Right? So, shouldn't that number be close to the new cases? At least somewhat. Like, I don't know, 70, 80,000? Maybe? I don't know. Just my thoughts. So, anyway, let me go through the numbers. Active cases, 2,620,919. Recovered cases, 1,123,477. That's up 14,959. Fatal cases, 142,956. That's up 727. Which brings me to my next damn point, yo. So, over the weekend, I had watched these new cases. And you see, now they're going back. Like, now they're actually saying this was like 75,821. They keep playing with the numbers. But get this. Fatal cases? Over the weekend, I know I saw 2,500 one day and close to 1,000 the next day. Something like that. And check this shit out. Not even close to any of that. Not even close to any of that. What happened? What happened? 2 days. 2 days were like that. to where here they showed a number. It was over 1,000, like 1,500 or something. One day it was over 2,000, like 2,500, something like that. And the next day, like it was like 1,500, something like that. And both of those numbers, just goodbye. Right? I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, Illinois, positive cases confirmed 162,748, deaths 7,301. Our recovery rates went up by 1%. And our particular zippy code has 32 confirmed cases. So over the weekend, we picked up 2 more. So, all right, sip of coffee, headline time, and then we'll do some rhyme. What? I'm working on my mixtape, man. Cut me some slack. Don't even know how to jig with it. I don't know. I'm gonna get backhanded. Alright. China expands its amphibious forces in challenge to U.S. beyond Asia. Man, I'm telling you what, there's a lot of posturing going on. And not just with the United States. But if you pay close attention to the headlines, and if you have been paying close attention to the headlines, you will notice that Germany has really been posturing. So has the UK. Sides are clearly being drawn here. And you're going to see that. You're going to see that. But as far as China is concerned, yeah, we keep both the United States and China taking an inch forward. I don't think there's too many damned inches left. So, we'll see. BRICS countries bet on digital technologies to boost development of small and medium-sized businesses. Do we name Fort Bragg after Reverend Al Sharpton? Trump says he may veto renaming of military bases honoring Confederate generals. Attempt to spoil peace deal. Taliban spokesman says Russian bounties story is fake news. House Democrats demand to probe Fed officers in Portland as city mayor blames them for violence. Britain's charges of hacking and meddling make no sense, but Russia is ready to turn the page and work with the UK, says an ambassador. Protesters trash Amazon store in Seattle as well-organized group attacks businesses and police precincts. UAE launches Arab world's first Mars probe, establishes communication with orbiter. Disguised gunman shoots husband and son of a bit. Oh, disguised gun. I couldn't resist. Disguised gunman shoots husband and son of federal judge investigating Deutsche Bank Jeffrey Epstein case. Sorry, don't mean to make light of somebody getting offed, but come on, I had the opportunity, and this is somehow Epstein-ish. All, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Fuck it applies. Move over, Antifa and BLM. It's time to deploy the moms. U.S. protests take unusual turn in Portland. Right. They whipped out the moms. Iran executes man convicted of selling General Soleimani's location to the CIA, says an official. India pushes for preferential trade deal with Southern African Customs Union. Yeah. And then China warns UK to avoid further going down the wrong path with Hong Kong interference over expected extradition suspension. And by the way, I didn't tweet anything out on Saturday or Sunday. So when I did put stuff out today, this is just the last 24 hours. Saying. Police officers injured and residents wake up to sea of trash after Leeds promotion to Premier League. Yes, over sports. Over sports. And man, that place is trashed. People throw a fit about protesters. I'm not talking about looters and rioters and all that. I'm talking about just protesters. People throw a fit about protesters? Oh my God. Anyway. Only a matter of time until gold hits new record highs, says Citigroup. I would agree. Cybercrime on the rise, 23% year-on-year increase as hackers prosper and world lockdown. Germany's weapons exports flouted EU rules for decades, fueling escalation of existing armed conflicts, says a study. UK jobs market faces real bloodbath, with most manufacturers planning to lay off workers. Scientists pave way for new era of medicine by observing nanoparticles for the first time. Reckless privacy rights group lashes out at UK government after it admits COVID-19 test and trace program didn't follow legal rules. Well, shock, huh? 5G wars. China could sanction Nokia and Ericsson in response to EU ban on Huawei. Greenfell Tower contractor tells inquiry into deadly blades that firm decided it didn't need a fire consultant. By the way, with all this back and forth and everything going on with China, I'm going to say it one more time, folks. I'm going to say it. If there's something that you need or something that you want that comes from over that way, you might want to get on getting it. There was actually a discussion in one of the DJI Mavic mini groups I'm in today, and they were actually talking about it. And they were talking about, that was the question that was actually posed by the author of the post, was whether people thought all the stuff going on was going to affect, of course, being able to get DJI drones. And of course it will. If things escalate to a point to where trade is cut, which very likely could happen at any moment, then yeah, I mean, you're done. What's in stock, what's on shelves is it. And of course what's on the shipping containers and whatnot. But I mean, warehouses and stuff, but that's it. Believe it or not, that's not an incredible amount of stuff. It may seem it to an individual, but to a nation, it's not. It's not a drop in the bucket. Man, there is tons of stuff that comes in every single day, day in and day out. So, having that flow completely cut off, it doesn't take very long to work through what's in the warehouses and what's in storage containers and of course what's on storage shelves. So keep that in mind, folks. But yeah, that's one of my, with hoping we catch a break soon so I can get the Air 2, the Mavic Air 2, because I don't know, I have no idea. Shit is so, it's just a fact. Shit is so crazy right now. It is unreal. Trying to keep up with all this is insane. Ancient tombs and hundreds of objects dating back to Golden Age in Chinese history unearthed at Silk Road origin. I thought that was pretty interesting. Most of Russia's COVID-19 cases came from Europe and not China, say researchers. Police chief hits back at Swedish scholars who suggest racist force should be dismantled or reduced. UK suspends extradition arrangement with Hong Kong immediately and indefinitely over new national security law. Suspect who shot family of judge on D.B. Jeffrey Epstein case found dead after apparent suicide, says reports. So, pardon me, that's an update to that situation. Joker malware toys with victims by lurking in apps on Google Play Store, tech experts warn. Italian police bust major psycho sect that practiced child sex abuse for over 30 years. U.S. sanctions Chechen leader Kadyrov, his wife, and daughters over gross human rights violations. We're almost there. Huge fire erupts on packed beach in the UK. Day trippers gather around to watch. Not grab a bucket and... Nah, who knows? Ankle monitors, house arrest, and armed yes. COVID-19 enforcement measures ramp up even as lockdowns wind down. I mean, when it first started, if somebody ran over with a bucket of fucking water, they could have put it out, maybe. Oh. Syrian army intercepts hostile targets above Damascus. Jihadi? Sorry. I did not mean that. That's a hell of a Freudian slip. You know that? Jihadi. Jihadi. I like that. I must admit. I know. It's not a good thing. I like it. Jihadi no more. UK police mull ditching Islamist terror and similar phrases after complaints from Muslim cops. I'm going to hell. 11 billion year old in our understanding of history. 11 beer. Maybe I need a beer. I keep trying to say beer. 11 billion year hole in our understanding of the history of the universe now filled. So there you go. Anything you want to know for the last 11 billion years, wherever the fuck you put your car keys, right? What was that on that paper towel that you touched? You want to know? Everything you want to know for the last 11 billion, even before you were born. Anything you want to know. Go to this website. They'll tell you how. Let me know how that works out for you. Charges filed against Mark and Patricia McCloskey. Yes, the Mr. and Mrs. Shoot 'em Up in St. Louis. There were charges filed. So we'll see how this circus unfolds. And picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Alright, and now RT's reporting this. St. Louis couple charged with illegal use of firearms for threatening peaceful protesters who crashed into their private community. Okay. I didn't know what Missouri laws were, or that particular city, or, you know. But by her actually aiming the firearm at a human being, that is likely why they are charged with illegal use of firearm. So it's really not that big of a charge. Not really that big of a deal. But of course the media is going to blow it all the hell out of proportion. But that's it. That's the headlines. I'll likely put out this monologue. So I'll go ahead and close it up. For those here for the live show, stick around. We'll be live till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those just here for the monologue, or if you're watching the recording later on, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.